Hey everyone, welcome to Alpha Insights. I'm Adam and we're glad you're here. And hey, if you have questions while you're listening, drop them at stockalpha.ai.
And I'm Juniper. Today we've got a string of tech security stories that are rippling through markets, from an AI support glitch to some ugly open source malware.
Yeah, it's one of those days where the headlines actually connect. Automated customer support, developer supply chains, even data center water risk. So, the real question here is how much this changes company risk profiles.
Right. Let's start with the Meta situation. Attackers apparently used its AI support tool to change account emails on Instagram and then reset passwords. Meta says they patched it and are investigating.
Honestly, I was a bit surprised by this one. The thought of an AI assistant being able to perform sensitive account changes and being abused highlights how automation can scale not just service, but mistakes.
Exactly. And what I find interesting is the trade-off. Firms deploy AI and support to cut costs and speed responses, but analysts note these systems can amplify breach impact when they touch account controls.
Right. So it's not just a technical bug, it's a reputational and regulatory risk. Companies that give automated systems the keys to accounts could face tougher scrutiny from data protection agencies.
And that can show up in near-term volatility. Management teams will probably get questions in earnings calls about guardrails, oversight, and incident response. So watch for follow-up disclosures.
Short reactions.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay, moving on to the supply chain story. Researchers found malicious code hidden in some NPM packages that steals cloud and CI credentials, hitting things like GitHub Actions, AWS, Google Cloud, and Azure.
This is the kind of supply chain risk that keeps security teams up at night. The malware runs during package install hooks and harvests tokens used in automation pipelines. Data suggests these attacks are getting more sophisticated.
So, the realistic response for firms is ramping up dependency scans, enforcing least privilege credentials in CI systems, and maybe hardening vendor and package controls.
Analysts note vendors that protect developer toolchains and cloud credential management could see increased demand. But remediation can be costly and disruptive, especially for companies with big developer footprints.
Short reactions.
Makes sense.
Yep.
And on a different front, there was an interesting mention in SpaceX's IPO paperwork. Access to affordable water for data center cooling was listed as a material risk.
That's a neat reminder that physical resources matter. Hardware-heavy operations still depend on local infrastructure and environmental factors. Water scarcity or cost pressures can shape where firms build and how they allocate capital.
Exactly. Investors and analysts are increasingly treating environmental and infrastructure risks as part of tech due diligence, not just a footnote for industrial firms.
There were also consumer-level stories today. Guides on adding VPNs to smart TVs, and even a cheap router reboot timer, which suggests users are taking network hygiene into their own hands.
Right, and that could nudge a modest uptick in consumer security spending, or at least awareness. But the bigger picture is corporate controls and platform governance.
So what should listeners watch next? First, patches and vendor advisories about both the AI support issue and the malicious packages. Prompt fixes could limit fallout. Slow responses could raise more questions.
Second, regulatory signals. Expect data protection authorities and consumer agencies to comment or investigate automated account controls. Third, corporate disclosures. Listen for management commentary on AI controls and supply chain audits in upcoming calls.
And over the next 24 to 48 hours, watch security vendors and cloud providers for guidance. They often set the tone on mitigation steps.
Quick FAQ style. Basic network hygiene matters. Strong passwords, two-factor authentication, and keeping devices updated. Analysts note those steps reduce common attack vectors, though they don't eliminate systemic supply chain risks.
All right, let's wrap. Key takeaways?
Automated support can speed service, but also amplify security and regulatory risk when it has control over accounts.
Supply chain malware in developer packages is real and increasingly targeting CI and cloud credentials. So dependency audits and least privilege practices matter.
And physical constraints, like water access for cooling, are material risks for hardware-heavy firms and will factor into strategic planning.
Those are great. Got questions? We'd love to hear from you. Head over to stockalpha.ai, where you can ask us anything, and we'll answer live. And while you're there, check out more market content and our Q&A feature.
Thanks for listening. Stay curious, and we'll be back with more updates as this story develops.